A young man by the name of Owen Azubike was brutally stabbed to death on the 3rd of May 2026 after he was invited out by his friend, another man identified as the number 40. This incident happened in Agbo in Delta State, and another man by the name of Marvin is being accused of being the one who directly killed Owen Azubike. But the thing here is there are two versions of this story. The version that the family is putting out and the version that a cult-related blog online is putting out. And the version that a blog is putting out online. So from what we know, Owen was a young man who lived in Benin City. According to his family member, he had recently started building a house in Agbo, Delta State. Not much is known about Marvin, the one accused of stabbing him, or 40, the friend who reportedly took Owen out of his house to go out for the day and who was there when the incident occurred. But according to reports, on Saturday, Marvin allegedly came to borrow money from Owen despite Owen already having an ongoing building project, and Owen assisted him financially. On that same day, 40 reportedly called Owen out of his house, asked him to accompany him to Asaba, although it remains unclear what they intended to do there. On Sunday, Owen was at home with his mother and sister when 40 called him again and asked him to start coming out so they could leave for Asaba. Owen eventually went with 40 because 40 claimed that he just needed to go and pick up something at a hotel named Sunny Inn. When they arrived at the hotel, it turned out that Marvin was at that hotel, the same Marvin who had borrowed money from Owen allegedly. And somehow, someway, 40, that is the victim's friend, got into an argument with Marvin. It's unclear what 40 and Marvin were fighting over, but they were going at each other. And Owen was there watching this, and it's unclear if he took side or, got involved in this argument between 40 and Marvin. But during the altercation, 40 was allegedly stabbed in the hand with a knife. Owen reportedly stepped in to separate the fight and later tried to assist 40 by taking him to the car so he could receive treatment for the injury. According to initial reports, Owen was then held by two men while Marvin stabbed him from behind with a sharp object. Earlier accounts claim that Owen bled to death at the scene while Marvin and 40 watched. It was also alleged that 40 contacted Owen's sister after Owen had already died. Owen's sister reportedly rushed to the scene and found him lying in the pool of blood. She immediately took him to two different hospitals where he was rejected before eventually being taken to a general hospital where he was confirmed dead. The incident was later reported to the police, leading to the arrest of 40 and two other men who were accused of restraining Owen during the attack. 40 was reportedly arrested because he was the person who called Owen out of the house that day of the incident. And Owen's family suspected that he may have played a role in planning out the whole attack on their son. Marvin, however, as at the time of making this video, could not be found. According to reports, 40 has been released by the police. And according to the police, they said they released 40 because they hope 40 would help them locate Marvin. The only problem is the family believe 40 and Marvin are working together. But given that 40 was allegedly stabbed and injured in that same argument, could it be that he is not going to take the side of Marvin and protect Marvin? But here is my thing and here is my thought. We only know 40 was injured in this argument because that was 40 telling the story. If I was to overthink this, I would assume that they probably have already killed Owen, and then for 40 to make himself look not suspicious, he injured his hand so that he can always change the story and claim, oh, I too was a victim. There is no way I would have wanted to plan this all together. It's like that scene from How to Get Away with Murder when after the student had killed somebody, the analyst Keaton had to shoot herself on the leg so that it can look like she was attacked and the person was killed back. You know how people create a scene after the victim is already dead. It could be one of those cases with 40. That is assuming if the family's feeling that 40 and Marvin were working together to kill Owen because of, he's building a house, he borrowed them money, he borrowed Marvin money, and this is one way not to pay back And this is one way not to pay back. You know how this thing goes. Once money is involved, property is involved, wealth is involved, I don't trust anybody. And why would 40 need Owen to escort him to Asaba? Like, you're a grown man. I think by your name being called 40, you should be over 40. But why is it? It looks very sketchy, and I agree with the family on that. And the fact that 40 was released angered the family. Owen's family continued demanding justice and arrest of everyone involved in or connected to the killing. The family also expressed fears that their sick mother might not survive the shock of Owen's death. However, a more recent update presented a slightly different version of events and suggested that the incident may have been connected to a cult-related activity. According to this update, the altercation between Marvin and 40 was initially described as minor, during which 40 sustained a stab wound in his hand. Owen was then reportedly stabbed in the back while trying to escape from the scene. But that doesn't make sense to me, because if the altercation between 40 and Marvin is minor, why is Owen trying to run away from the scene? And why is he being stabbed at the back? If indeed he was not initially involved, it's like the two people fighting is being described as minor, but the person affected was just somebody running away or trying to separate. That it's hard to put those two statements. You stab somebody in the back to the point to kill them, and somehow you're claiming that the altercation that led to this incident is minor. Now you gotta have to make it make sense, because it's not making sense. The maths ain't mathsing. Although in this new account we heard that Owen did not immediately die on the scene, because from the family's perspective, the sister of Owen came to find Owen in the pool of blood, which doesn't make sense, because from Agbo to Asaba is a lot of time. So how would your friend who you went with stabbed and is laying in his pool of blood, and you call the sister and you're leaving the body there waiting for the sister to come? That to me did not make sense. But newer accounts claims that immediately Owen was stabbed, the friend 40 transported him to the hospital for medical treatment, and that he most likely died on their way to the hospital. There were also reports of fear of possible retaliation attacks in the area where the incident occurred, due to this being an alleged cult-related connection. It was further alleged that some angry youths later went and burnt down Marvin's house after news spread that he was the person accused of stabbing Owen to death. As of the latest available updates, no additional arrest has been reported apart from the three men, including 40, who were initially detained, had been released. Marvin himself is still on the run, while the police continues the search for him.